guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome to another Premier Division preview video. Delighted to welcome Philip Warner with me again today. How are you, Philip? You well?
Good, Keith. We're back.
We're back. And we're back with fans as well, which is interesting as well. We'll get into that later on. Maybe we'll talk about Shamrock Rovers in that regard too, because they're at home actually against Harps. But just before we start, guys, please like the video, subscribe if you're new, and hit your bell notification button so you don't miss a video. We'll start off with your friends anyway. Bohemians, they take on Derry City. They take on, you're delighted to see them back. They take on Derry City at the Brandywell, and look, Bowls were starting to fire, weren't they? In fairness, before the break. Same with Derry City, actually. They've really improved an awful lot under Rory Higgins. Will Patchen has been excellent for them. Talk about him going back to Dundalk, which would be a big loss actually for Derry, by the way. But in the window, that's only a few weeks. But only 3 points in it. In the table, Derry on 17, Bowls on 20. How do you see this one going, Philip?
Do you know something? But as we said, both sides were firing just before the break. And to be honest with you, Derry have shocked me. I thought they'd turn around and they'd do okay, but they just seem to just not stop, and they just keep getting better and better. And I don't know, I just, Bowes, as good as they've been since they've come back, I just think that there's still that bit of vulnerability there at the back with them, you know. I think we saw it in the Pats game. It was very evident in the Pats game. That they just, you can't rely on that defence, and I think that'll probably shine through when it comes to Derry, because I think going forward, since Higgins has come in, they've been brilliant, and they've been really, really exciting. Like, and I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna say Derry 2-1. Bowes well capable of taking something out of the game, but I just think Derry have been brilliant since Higgins has come in, and I just think that will continue.
I'm going for a draw myself. I think it'll be a tight game. What do you call it? Yeah, I mean, like Derry, they've improved defensively as well. I think they've improved all round. Actually, their whole structure has improved. I'm not really sure why, because I actually think Declan Devine's a good manager, so it doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest with you. So maybe it was just a breakdown in relations between him and the players and stuff. You don't know, and that often leads to, you know, a breakdown in patterns of play and things like that. Bowes, you're right. Yeah, they look good going forward. Very good in midfield at the moment, but there is a vulnerability still there at the back. And whenever you think they're going to go on a great run, they hit a little snag and it just holds them back slightly. Derry, I still wouldn't rule out Europe, by the way. I still think their possibility of getting into Europe. They're 8 points behind Pats, who are third. It's not a massive gap. I mean, that can be gone in a few weeks, never mind a few months. So they're still in the shake-up for me. I don't rule them out of that. Who do I think will win? I went for a draw, actually, didn't I? So I don't think anyone will win.
Fair enough,
Yeah. On to Dundalk and Waterford. And Dundalk, look, we've talked about their problems before, and it looks like Magilton's going to stay on till the end of the season. There's talk about budget cuts next season. I'm not really sure what they mean by budget cuts as such, because we've talked about how they have a lot of players on large contracts, big money. You can't exactly cut those budgets. So do they mean they're not going to be spending any money maybe on new players? You know, this kind of thing. I don't know. It's a mess, really, to be honest, at the moment. But in relation to the match, it's a must win for them, because I think this is an opportunity for them to get a serious opportunity for them to get 3 points. Waterford had the takeover, but that's not really going to come into effect for quite a while with new players, etc. How do you see this one going?
I can't, as much, I can't look past Dundalk, but at the same time, it's just the way they've been. It's you don't know. It's so strange. And look, they go and they put in a good performance against Pats, but the Waterford, it's just, I hope that this takeover gets them going. I really do, because they're, as I said previously, they're a good club. Everyone likes them in the league. It's a nice away trip, but to be honest with you, Keith, cut to the chase, I can't look past Dundalk for a win, just with all the circumstances, even though they're so unpredictable. It just, the quality will shine through, I think.
I think so. I think there's a big gap in quality there. I think there's only a point between Longford and Waterford, but I think Longford look the better team at the moment. Waterford, I think overall, the best they can hope for is 9th and hopefully stay in the division and then kick on with the new investment. They're lucky because it looks like it's a decent investment from the new owners as well. Like, you know, so I think they're fortunate that way. But we can only talk about what's happening on the pitch at this minute in time. And I think Dundalk would have reflected the last few weeks. I think they made a change in terms of they're playing less of their new signings, which is a good thing because you can't just, in my opinion, bring in 7-8 new signings and expect them all to gel, especially foreign signings, which is what they tried to do. They tried to shoehorn them in quickly. But for me, Dundalk will win it. Waterford, I think, have got 2 goals this season from play and the rest from set pieces. They'll do well to get 1. Dundalk are going to get at least 2. I'll go for maybe 3-0 Dundalk. I think they might win this quite comfortably, Philip, to be honest with you. On the Shamrock Road, and actually just before that, actually, it's interesting because we're talking about fans coming back into grounds and how it can affect things there as well. I'm not sure the owners of Dundalk will want fans in at Oriel Park for this game.
I want, yeah, that's true. I wanted to say something to you actually, Keith, because if I read correctly online, there was the owners that are taking over Waterford, they had 30% already, didn't they?
33% exactly, apparently, yeah.
Do you? I said this to myself straight away. Do you reckon that the reason why there was no investment and there was no, you know, the intent to progress the team, do you reckon that was down to the fact that the man just didn't want to spend any more money?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. Because a lot of the players they brought in were at a far lower level than what they brought in, say, the previous season. Yeah, I think 100%. Also, the guy that obviously had 33% shares of the club would mean the fact that, he would have brought in Bertram pretty much and things like that, and he would have had a future plan. But they probably hoped they wouldn't be so far back in the table. I think that's probably the biggest issue, but unfortunately, that's the way it worked out for them. So definitely, I do think it's a good thing for them, by the way, that there's been a guy there who bought some 33% shares of the club. Yeah, but the fact that he's been there and he's seen what's gone on, the surroundings, etc., rather than just Lee Parrish has sold up to somebody who's come in out of the blue. I think that's a good thing for them as well. But I suppose on to Shamrock Rovers and Finn Harps, Phil. And how many are allowed in for this one?
I think it's 1,000. I think it's 1,000.
So. Yeah, you're right. It is 1,000. I'm just trying to make sure. Do you think you'll get in, by the way?
I won't. No, I won't.
No.
I didn't renew my season ticket last year. And to be fair to the club, straight off the bat, the people that were there and got stuck by the club, the members and other relevant people around the club that were there through thick and thin, put their money in, even when times are tough, they're getting first lot, and that's completely acceptable.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And I'm delighted that they've done that. It's a great step forward. Obviously, there's a lot of fans that are disappointed, but when I heard it, I was like so upset with joy, like, because I'm like, you know something, we're getting back, and it's. Even if I'm not there, the fact I'm going to see people in that stadium for the first time in over a year, it's so overwhelming, like, you know, and it's something that I just can't wait for, and that's why I think this break has been a bit longer, like for me personally, because I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting there, but obviously the game hasn't come around yet, and just you're celebrating the fact that people are going into a stadium, like, you know, Look, to be honest, Keith, if we talk about Rovers briefly, they needed the big time. They definitely did. They were on their knees, and we've got a couple back now, and it's looking more of a squad again.
It's not the biggest squad in the world, isn't it? Not though. No. People assume it is. It's not though.
No, it's not. But the thing is, it's not the biggest squad in the world, but the quality of the squad is completely by far and away a lot better than the likes of a Dundalk's bench. You know what I mean? If you're going in comparison, that's my personal opinion now. Others may differ, but look, again, it's a chance for, I think, just the fans alone being there. I just can't look past us, you know, as kind of as shaky as we've been up towards the break and inconsistent. I thought personally we've been a bit inconsistent. I just think we'll get over the line. I think it might just be a 1-0, to be honest with you, because Harps, again, brilliant side. Love everything about that club and how they do things, and really, really, really trying to be as defensively resilient that they have been since the start of the season. I just can't see that stopping. I just think Horgan has a bet into them, and I think their signings are starting. Their recruitment before the start of the season has really shone through up to this point.
The fact they kept most of their players as well, actually.
Yeah,
that's been key.
And again, look, we look at it, they bring in a few players that are completely unknown to people, like, you know what I mean, from leagues in and around the Donegal area, like, and they step in and they're well capable of competing, you know. But again, credit to Ollie Horgan, what he's doing. We talk about it all the time. Anytime we talk about Harps, how good a job he's doing. But I'll just say we'll get through this 1-0 maybe.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing with Shamrock Rovers is they're one of the hardest teams to judge this season, because I'm just kind of staring down the table here. They're second, 1 point behind Sligo. I'm struggling to pick games where they've played really well in this season, really. Like, there's not many. Can you think of one, actually? Maybe you can think of one, but at the top of my head, I'm struggling.
Do you know something? Not throughout the whole game, but I thought the game up in Finn Harps, we played really, really well. I know we've got 2 goals in the last 25 minutes, but I thought the performance was pretty well thought out. I thought they done really well. But no, you're dead right, Keith. It's something that I've talked about before. I still don't think Rovers have got going, but it's getting to a stage now, Keith, where I'm kind of saying,
have to.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, but are they able to? Is the thing. Do you know what I mean? And with the likes of your McIneffs and your Bournes leaving last season, like, it's just, I'm looking at it and I'm saying,
that's what it is as well, Philip. I don't think I think they've a lot of very good individual midfield players, but I'm not sure balance isn't right there for me at the moment. Yeah. And until they get that right, it's hard. At times, for 25 minutes against Pats, I thought they were excellent, actually. And for about 20 minutes against Drogheda, they were excellent. It's been a bit like that for them this season, but they're just difficult to know in that kind of way. They haven't been great overall, but they've showed great resilience in a lot of their matches. 2 things can happen there, though. They can't keep scoring the last minute, let's say, and getting results. So you're dropping points, or they do find another gear and they kick on. And it's hard to know which one's going to happen yet, but it's going to be interesting now, because with the break finished, it'll be interesting to see what they're like. I think they'll win this as well. I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'll be tight. Finn Harps, as you talked about them there, how they set up, etc., can be dangerous in the counter-attack with the likes of Adam Foley and even Carlos Sullivan and players like that. Ola Wabi has come in now as well, and he looks dodgy as well in terms of giving defenders run for their money, and a tough game like he did against Sligo. But yeah, for me, I'm going to go for Shamrock Rovers as well, Philip, just about to win it 1-0. On to, and it's great to see crowd back, you've talked about that obviously as well, on to Longford and St.Patricks Athletic, which is on a Saturday. Longford second bottom of the league at 7 points, past third and 25. One win for Longford, but I don't know, there's a sense that they've been hard done by. They haven't got their just reward so far, in my opinion. They've left a few points behind them. I think, unlike Waterford, they should have more points on the board, maybe up to 11 or 12 even. They're on 7. Bishopsgate will have fans back for this one. It's the first time they'll get in to see Longford in the Premier. So that's even, there'll be more up for it. I think this is going to be a difficult one for Pats, if I'm honest. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I agree with you, Keith. And I personally think this fans coming back, I think this is exactly what Longford needed, to be honest with you, because as we've said previously, like they've been in games, and you know they've not had the look of the green or the rub of the green rather when it comes to it. Like, they've been unfortunate, and I personally thought they were excellent against Rovers before the break, and they deserved the point.
Twice they played well against Rovers, actually.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, like, these last minute goals, I thought we were very fortunate. I thought we felt like we robbed the bank, to be honest, when we got out there with 3 points. You know, I didn't think we deserved it at all. But again, I just think Longford need the fans back, and I think this is going to be a point where they're going to kick on. I'm not going to say they're going to go win tons of games, and I don't know about Pats, to be honest with you. Coming up towards the break, there was just that slip. And it was something that you kind of looked at and said it was the Pats of 18 months ago, where they were spineless, but they were very, very easy to break down and just didn't look like a compact squad. I'm going to go a score draw in this. I think that Longford, they're going to get a goal just off the fact of fans being back in. I just think that'll rile the players up that little bit more. But Pats have great quality, and as Forrester's not injured, is he? Is he back there?
No, he's not available. Yeah, he's available.
Yeah. I think he came off in a game leading up to the break. That's what it was.
I think, Philip, agree. I think with Pats there last couple of weeks, I think the break done them good as well. I thought some players started to look like they were shattered, if I'm honest with you. Like you'd Matty Smith and Billy King playing every single match out wide, and they worked their socks off. I think I talked about this elsewhere, but Dara Burns has actually been a bigger loss than has been given credit for because he got injured. 6 games, 2 goals, couple of assists. I know he's 18, but we've seen it before. Young players are excelling in this league if they're good enough, and he certainly is good enough. So they've been robbed of the option of giving Smith a rest and putting him in. So I think the small squad for Pats was starting to catch up with them. The break will help them maybe iron out a few niggles as well. I'm sure 1 or 2 were probably playing as well with a few niggles. But I think they would have preferred this game against Longford pre-fans, if I'm honest with you, than playing it now. I think it's probably arguably the worst time to play Longford. I'm with you. I think I'll go for a draw as well. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw here. I think Longford would be delighted with that. If Pat's got away with a win here, I'd be absolutely over the moon with it, to be honest with you. But I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Finally, Philip, we go to where we Sligo Rovers and Drogheda United. And another team I think that the break came at the right time was Drogheda. Maybe the wrong time for Sligo because Drogheda, you know, you could see they were starting to tire in some of their matches and they lost their last match, in fact, to Derry. That might be a problem as the season goes on, but because they work extremely hard all over the pitch, they're pressing. It's great to see, but this will be interesting to see what the break does to them. Sligo, of course, have played overall the best football in the league, I have to say, so far, but they're only a point ahead of Shamrock Rovers. It's not as if they're miles ahead or anything like that. They would have been disappointed with the break. But how do you see this one going yourself?
It's going to be a tight game, I think, you know. I'm still trying to scratch my head, still thinking about how we're not top of the table, you know, especially 3 games before the break. We look like we're running away with the league, even though we weren't playing the best of football. But Sligo, as I said previously, I thought they'd do quite well, Keith, but I didn't think they'd do as well as they have. And I just think the break itself came at the worst possible time because they were just starting to get going and they looked like a bit of a steam train, to be honest with you.
It looked like confidence was as high as anything, didn't it?
Yeah, it was sky high, and you know, I think they'll, I don't know if they'll start as well as they finished before the break, but I still think that maybe the quality of the Sligo team will just get them through it. But saying that, Drogheda, I just love everything about them. They're such a difficult team to break down, and they play with their heart on their sleeve, and it's just going to be such a tight game, you know. I want it to be a draw. I really do. My head's telling me, my heart's telling me 1-1, but my head's telling me that Sligo win at 1-0.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Sligo 1-0 as well. I think it'd be tight as well. I think they've proved this season, Sligo, that although they've played some good football, they can nick results when they're not playing at their best. Their only issue with Sligo, I think, is like with Europe coming up fairly soon and that, I'm not sure if they've the squad. We'll see. Like, it's a long season. We've only 14 games gone. There's a long, long way to go yet. And I'm not sure if they have the squad. They do in certain areas of the pitch, but say if a Bulger or a Morahan gets injured, it's a big gap there in quality coming in next to midfield. You know, you've got other areas of the team as well. Look, they're strong overall, don't get me wrong, but I think they'll nick this one 1-0. Drogheda, as you say, it'll be interesting to see what the break actually does to them as well. And obviously, we're not too far away from the transfer window as such either. Well, the transfer window, technically, we can still bring in frees, but contracts over in England and that aren't officially up and stuff until a few weeks and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see who does good moves in that window or whatever. That could make a big difference. But for me, yeah, I think Sligo might nick it 1-0, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Drogheda nicked a point here. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Philip, thanks for joining us as ever. Fair play to you. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss a video. And that's about it. Thanks very much, Philip. Cheers. Come on.
Thanks, Pete.